For today's video, we're going to be making a semi-realistic uh, representation of sushi. And so to do this, we're going to be using the program Vectr, and we'll be going over the tools and then some of the processes you'll be using to convey a semi-realistic aspect to food that you are going to choose. So again, you can use some of these options up here, the square with the rounded edges, or the ellipse to help you design your food that you are going to select. These are not they're not the ideal option, but they will get you close for your the shapes of your creation. You can use the pencil tool again. It's not as helpful. It is a little bit more rigid, so it won't be complete curved lines here. You can see it has like more of like a lightning bolt and like rigid edge to it. But I would suggest using the pen tool. It'll get you close as possible to the realistic aspect of your object, since it has curved edges and can form to any dimension. So this should be your mostly the tool you use for this entire process. To bring in your picture, if you have one somewhere on your computer, you go to this little cloud icon with the up arrow. You're going to upload your photo from wherever it is, if it's in your downloads, if it's on your desktop, so you can bring in your image. So we already have one on here. What we're going to do is going to zoom in so you can see what we're looking at. Some of the things we're going to make for this project on my sushi design, I'm going to make a couple different pieces of rice here, and they're going to be different tones. So there's going to be like sort of like a brighter white, or like sort of like a cool white. So there's like bluish white tone, as well as some of this like grayer version. So it's like sort of in shadow, so that they'll be layered on top of each other, so they have more depth instead of it just being a clump of white area. So I'm going to make a bunch of these and just copy and paste them over and over again, as well as making the piece of salmon that goes over top. And anywhere that there's a color change is probably going to be need to be a new piece that you made with the pen tool. So if I was looking at this piece of salmon that's on the top of the screen here, what I would do is I'd probably make this top piece, like this whole piece here, with the pen tool, and then the side piece here will be another pen tool, as well as the front part of the closest part of the salmon to us as the viewer. Since this is a different tone than the side one, as well as the top one is definitely different in that it is lighter than both the side and the front. So I would make this like one piece of salmon in 3 different pieces, and then go back and sort of make these like these white lines that are part of the salmon like meat. I'd probably make those with the pen tool, but just not make a full object. And so you can do that by using the pen tool. So if I made this design and say I wanted that just to be a solid color, you can click on any other tool and it will go away. So now I just clicked on the pen tool and it went away. And click on it again, so now I have the move, like the little arrow, so I can move it along. And now I would say I wanted that, that's the color I wanted. I can go to here, make it, I don't want it to be a fill color. I'm going to turn that off, but I can go here and make it white. And now I can move. We can start to get some of our idea here. It might be a little too bright for what we want, so maybe I need to go down to opacity, sort of make it a little bit more transparent, so it becomes more of like a faded color. Maybe you can use the sizing here, so how wide that line is. Maybe make that a little more transparent. Starting to get sort of like that complexion of the overall design. So once you have what pieces you need, you can start to assemble them. So I'm gonna make a couple different ones. So I'll make this salmon one here with the rice. This one that has the white material on top with the rice. I'm also gonna make another salmon one, but I'm going to add a piece of seaweed that's like sort of like these ones in the back. I'm gonna make that, wrap it around the side, so it'll cover up all of the ingredients and look like they're wrapped up together. When you're doing these, you might need to manage your layers over here on the left side of your screen, and so you might need to keep moving pieces back and forth just to make sure objects are on the correct layer and they're not blocking your images underneath. Okay? So the rest of this video will be a montage of working on creating these and having a resolved result. A couple other things you can work on is creating a drop shadow. So maybe having like this salmon look like it's laying on top of the rice, so maybe it'll have a drop shadow. I'll make one for the group of rice here, so it looks like this as well. When you're making that, so if this was my rice area, say, you can go to the shadow icon here, or the word shadow, give it a color. So right now we can start to see it has, like, you can see it's sort of a faded area on the bottom. The offset is the how many pixels crosses it. So how many pixels to the right or to the left it is. The offset Y is how high or how low it is. Then the blur is how faded it becomes. Like if you, it'd be the same reason if like your hand was above a table, you could start to see it. Like if it's really close to the table, you can see more of the design of your hand. But as you move your hand farther away, it becomes a little bit less distinct, more faded away. So that's what that blur would be. And the speed is like overall like area that it's covering. Right. You probably do not want to use insert shadow. It won't really help you. It's like sort of, it makes something look like it's like has a hole in it. But if yours needs that, that's fine. Like maybe a donut.